New York, one of the world's finest cities, is constantly a flurry of activity, with famous sights around every corner and seldom enough time to see them all. Some visitors come to see the Broadway musicals, others come to shop and eat, and still more come to view the sights, such as the Statue of Liberty, the Empire State Building, the Brooklyn Bridge, Central Park, historic districts, and several world-renowned museums. Many of the greatest locations to see in New York are within walking distance of one another or are only a short train trip away, making touring in this city a breeze. The High Line and One World Observatory, two newer tourist attractions in New York that debuted in recent years, provide distinctive vistas of the city. There is always something to see and do in New York, no matter what time of year it is or what time of day or night it is. Even if the city doesn't have its typical high-energy atmosphere this year, it doesn't mean you shouldn't go. The city has become a different place as a result of the lower number of tourists, making it less expensive to explore and easier to visit, with shorter lines at popular sites. You might want to take advantage of having the city to yourself. So before start, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Hit that like button. It is free for you, does not cost you anything, but it tremendously helps my channel. Number 20. Bryant Park. On a hot summer day, nothing beats a relaxing afternoon at Bryant Park. There are monuments and gardens on the grounds, as well as Le Carousel, a popular carousel. For a nominal price, chess, checkers, and backgammon boards are provided in a gaming section. Until 1989, when the city regained Bryant Park and transformed it into a lovely urban paradise, it was a sleazy area notorious for violence and a hangout for undesirables. This park has been adopted by the community, and it is now a delight to walk through. Even if you don't want to play a game, watching others play is entertaining. The park is directly across the street from the New York Public L. Number 19. Carnegie Hall. Carnegie Hall, New York's first famous music hall, inaugurated in 1891. The hall was packed with musicians ranging from Tchaikovsky, who conducted on opening night, through Leonard Bernstein and the Beatles. The acoustics are claimed to be among the finest in the world. While attending a concert is the greatest way to experience the hall, taking a guided tour is one of the best ways to learn about it. The tour provides a detailed overview of the hall, as well as information into its construction and discussion of some of the performers that have performed there. The Rose Museum is where the tours come to a conclusion. Number 18. St. Patrick's Cathedral. With its massive bronze doors, white marble facade, 330-foot spires, great organ, rose window, bronze baldachin, 2,400 seating capacity, and Pieta's statue at the side of the Lady Chapel, St. Patrick's Cathedral is one of New York's finest examples of Gothic Revival architecture. The cathedral is a popular destination for both believers and tourists, with millions of visitors each year. The structure was built in 1879 and has been meticulously renovated and maintained over the years, including a $200 million makeover completed in 2016. Number 17. Radio City Music Hall. Radio City Music Hall, a famous entertainment venue and a designated city landmark, is located in the shadow of Rockefeller Center. The Rockets Dance Company performs at this 1932 Art Deco theater, which also hosts musical extravaganzas and films. The Rockefellers built and funded the structure in the 1930s, and it housed the world's largest indoor theater at the time. The theater now hosts a number of significant events, including the Grammy Awards and the Tony Awards. Its large marquee, which wraps around the building and spans down the street, is difficult to miss. Number 16. Wall Street. The world-famous Wall Street runs for 8 city blocks from Broadway to South Street. Some of the world's most significant exchanges are located on this street and in the adjacent neighborhood, including the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, and the New York Mercantile Exchange. From Broadway to South Street, the world-famous Wall Street stretches for 8 city blocks. The New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, and the New York Mercantile Exchange are just a few of the world's most important exchanges that are located on this street and in the surrounding area. Number 15. New York Public Library. The main branch of the New York Public Library was constructed in the Beaux-Arts style by architects Carrere and Hastings. The library, with its grand chambers, is a popular local attraction that has been featured in a number of films and television series throughout the years. Although it is commonly referred to as the main branch, the Stephen A. Schwarzman Building is the official name. It debuted to immediate acclaim in 1911. The main reading room alone takes over 2 city blocks, while the periodicals room has 10,000 current magazines. To say the least, the collection at this place is extensive. Number 14. The Frick Collection. When it comes to New York City museums, the Frick Collection is at the top of the list for atmosphere. Henry Clay Frick, who had the home erected to exhibit his art collection, gave the structure and the original collection, which is housed in an early 1900s mansion. The artwork is attractively displayed in 16 galleries and contains a combination of paintings, ceramics, and furniture. Paintings by Monet, Rembrandt, Bellini, Bel Greco, and other well-known artists are on show. The collections are not organized by time, artist, or nation, but rather in a more haphazard manner intended for entertainment. The rooms are arranged around a lovely covered garden court with tropical plants and a pond in the center. Number 13. One World Observatory. One World Observatory, located at the summit of the newly completed One World Trade Center building, offers spectacular views from floors 100, 101, and 102, 1,776 feet above the city. The ride to the top in the elevator is part of the attraction. As you climb, the surrounding panels depict New York as it has evolved over time, from a rural setting to the modern city. This glass tower, visible from all across the city, is a one-of-a-kind structure on the Manhattan skyline, with angles that give it a distinctive aspect. The tower seems pyramidal if you stand at the base and stare straight up. Number 12. Grand Central Terminal. Grand Central Terminal, often known as Grand Central Station, is a magnificent Beaux-Arts structure that is well worth a visit. The structure initially built in 1913 as a subway and train station terminal. The colonnaded facades on 42nd Street and the statues on top are some of the main attractions on the outside. You can't miss the grand staircase on the inside, where you may take a break and look out over the concourse. A heavenly picture is depicted on the nicely repaired ceiling. Inside, you'll discover a wide variety of retail stores and eateries. Number 11. Fifth Avenue. Fifth Avenue is one of America's most renowned shopping avenues, and it is home to several of the world's most well-known designers' flagship businesses. This affluent boulevard is lined with Cartier, Tiffany, Bergdorf Goodman, the famed Apple Store Fifth Avenue, and of course, Saks Fifth Avenue, among many others. A stroll down Fifth Avenue is enjoyable for shoppers and non-shoppers alike. The finest location is between 60th Street and 40th Street, which runs roughly from the south end of Central Park to the New York Public Library. Number 10. Brooklyn Bridge. The Brooklyn Bridge is one of the city's most iconic sights, with its Gothic-shaped arches and suspension cables inspiring generations of poets, singers, and artists. This historic bridge, which connects Manhattan and Brooklyn across the East River, was the world's first steel suspension bridge when it opened in 1883. Many boats on the east side of Manhattan provide views of it, but the best way to see it is to take an hour and stroll across the Brooklyn Bridge. Only walkers and bicycles have access to a wood plank boardwalk that runs over the traffic lanes. Beautiful views of Manhattan, the East River, and the Statue of Liberty may be seen from the bridge. Riding over the bridge is another alternative, although pedestrian traffic may be high on peak days, making cycling sluggish and difficult. Keep in mind that the bridge's entrance is set back from the water's edge. Number 9. Times Square. Times Square, which is lined with massive, brightly illuminated billboards and displays, is the place to be in New York in the evening, but it's also thrilling at any time of day. New York's New Year's Eve celebrations take place here, including the iconic ball drop at midnight, when the square and surrounding streets are packed with people. Times Square is bustling and often packed, yet it has its own distinct attraction. The bleachers at one end are a nice spot to relax and take in the scenery. Longacre Square was renamed Times Square in 1904 after the New York Times Tower. In 1928, the newspaper became the first in the world to display current headlines on a moving sign. Number 8. High Line. The High Line, a disused rail line that has been converted into an urban walking route above the city streets, is an intriguing and recently enlarged attraction in New York City. This one-of-a-kind linear public park is home to a diverse collection of plants and trees, many of which are native to the area. Many of these blossoms in the spring. From Gansevoort Street on the south end, just south of West 13th Street, to West 34th Street on the north end, this oasis on Manhattan's west side runs parallel to 10th Avenue for the most part. It is accessible at several locations throughout the route, some of which have only stair access and others that have both stair and elevator access. Despite the fact that the High Line is only 2 to 3 floors above street level, the views of the city's architecture and lookouts over the streets provide a whole different viewpoint. Art installations, seats, and a sitting area with bleacher-style seating and a glass wall looking out over the city can be found throughout the path. The path is widely utilized, and weekends may be very busy, yet it is still a tranquil refuge without the surrounding bustle. The Hudson Yards View, known as the Vessel, near 34th Street, is one of the High Line's attractions. This is a very beautiful multi-level structure. Just off the High Line, there are a number of interesting sites to explore. The Meatpacking District, in the south, is home to a plethora of fashionable eateries and excellent cuisine. The Whitney Museum of American Art, which is well worth a visit, is next to the southernmost entrance point. Number 7. 9/11 Memorial and Museum. The twin 110-story World Trade Center buildings formerly dominated the Manhattan skyline before being demolished by suicide-piloted jetliners on September 11, 2001, resulting in a devastating loss of life. 2 one-acre square reflecting ponds have been built where the World Trade Center's 2 towers once stood. The National September 11th Memorial pays tribute to the nearly 3,000 people killed in the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks, as well as the 6 people killed in the earlier World Trade Center bombing in February 1993. The pools are sunken and surrounded by trees and grass, with water pouring over the edges and emptying into what appears to be an endless square. These are North America's most massive man-made waterfalls. Bronze plaques with the names of all individuals murdered in the assaults may be seen all around the pools. Between the 2 pools is the 9/11 Memorial Museum, which is housed in an architecturally stunning, curving glass building. It includes artifacts, photos, and videos that tell the story of 9/11, as well as the aftermath and consequences. The edifice is built around the ruins of the World Trade Center and integrates the original structures into the magnificent new museum construction. The memorial and museum are located on Greenwich Street, on the south side of One World Trade Center. The eye-catching Westfield World Trade Center, which houses Oculus Plaza, is also worth visiting in this neighborhood, on the opposite side of Greenwich Street. With its white fins and spaceship-like look, this structure is hard to Mississippi. Although this is a public building with shops and high-end stores, it's worth stopping by to admire the architecture. Tickets for the 9/11 Museum must be purchased in advance, either online or at the ticket booth. This is one of New York's most popular attractions, so make a reservation in advance to prevent disappointment. If you're traveling with your family, book the reduced family rate for up to 5 people. When purchasing your tickets, you will be given the option of choosing a visit time, which you must adhere to. The museum is free on Mondays from 3:30 to 5 p.m., but tickets must be reserved in advance and are restricted to 4 per person. Number 6. Empire State Building. The Empire State Building is a well-known landmark and popular tourist destination in New York City. Until the One World Trade Center skyscraper rose taller 41 years later, the 381-meter-tall, 102-story structure was the world's tallest. When it first opened in 1931, the Empire State Building, which was topped with an airship mooring pole, became a landmark and a symbol for New York City. The Empire State Building has 2 observatories, both of which provide spectacular views. On clear days, you can see up to 80 miles into New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and Massachusetts, which are all neighboring states. The city's tallest open-air observation deck, the 86th floor observatory, 1,050 feet, is what most tourists anticipate to see when they visit the Empire State Building. If it seems familiar, it's because this location has been featured in a number of films and television series. It has both a glass-enclosed area that is heated in the winter and cooled in the summer, as well as spacious outdoor promenades on all 4 sides of the building, which are reached by high-speed, automatic elevators. The views are breathtaking. The 102nd floor's top deck rises 1,250 feet above the busy streets below. The viewing area here is enclosed, despite the fact that you are 16 floors higher. The queue to climb the Empire State Building is nearly always long, moves slowly, and may be ridiculously long during peak periods, making the experience more frustrating than it needs to be. Be advised that this one attraction alone may easily consume half of your traveling day. Number 5. Broadway and the Theater District. One of the most popular things to do in New York City is to see a Broadway musical. This is the location to view the most recent performances as well as long-running classics, as it is considered the pinnacle of American theater. The term Broadway theater is commonly used to refer to a vast number of theatrical venues throughout the theater district and along Broadway itself. Tickets for the most popular performances should be booked in advance. Schubert Lane is a famous pedestrian-only alley in the theater district that includes 2 historic playhouses, the Schubert on 221 West 44th Street and the Booth on 22 West 45th Street. Historically, ambitious performers would flock to Schubert Alley in search of roles in plays sponsored by theatrical mogul Sam S. Schubert. The Schubert Theater hosted a record-breaking 6,137 performances of A Chorus Line. Oklahoma, a musical, premiered in 1941 at the St. James Playhouse, which is just down the street. Sardi's Restaurant, where many great actors met, and the Music Box Theater, where Irving Berlin presented the Music Box Revue in 1921, are 2 more legendary locations. Number 4. Metropolitan Museum of Art. The Metropolitan Museum of Art, or simply the Met, was established in 1870 and is one of the most well-known museums in the United States. The Metropolitan Museum of Art's permanent collection contains over 2 million works of art spanning 5,000 years. The Met Fifth Avenue is the museum's focal point, despite the fact that it has 3 locations: American decorative arts, arms and armor, costumes, Egyptian art, musical instruments, photographs, and much more are among the collection's highlights. Exhibitions expose the audience to some of the world's most famous masterpieces. If you're serious about seeing the Met, try taking a VIP, empty Met tour, which allows you to tour the museum with just 25 other people before it opens to the general public in the morning. Another renowned New York museum is the Met Cloisters, which is located in Fort Tryon Park in northern Manhattan. This part of the Metropolitan Museum of Art specializes on European medieval art and architecture and is located in an exceptional edifice built around medieval cloisters, chapels, and halls. Number 3. Rockefeller Center and top of the Rock Observation Deck. Rockefeller Center is on nearly every tourist's itinerary when it comes to New York attractions. The 70-story 30 Rockefeller Plaza, an Art Deco skyscraper with spectacular views of Manhattan from the iconic top of the Rock Observation Deck, is the centerpiece of this huge entertainment and shopping complex in the heart of Manhattan, which is home to NBC TV and other media. The deck, as it's known, is made up of 3 floors: the 67th, 69th, and 70th day or night. The indoor and outdoor viewing areas provide breathtaking vistas. A top of the Rock Observation Deck ticket can be purchased in advance. These tickets have a flexible voucher redemption policy, which means you may alter the day if your plans change or the weather isn't cooperating. Skating on the outdoor rink at the base of the tower is a favorite winter pastime in New York City, and it's a great activity for families and couples. From October through April, the rink is usually open. A large Christmas tree is built in front of the ice rink after Thanksgiving, illuminating the facility throughout the holiday season. Many people travel to New York in December only to view this attraction. The renowned bronze sculpture of Atlas in front of the International Building is another item of attraction in this region. For photographers, it's a popular subject. Number 2. Central Park. A stroll, pedal, or carriage ride through Central Park's crisscrossing pathways is a must-do on anyone's New York City bucket list. You may even lace up your skates and glide over Woolman Rink in the winter. One of the things that makes New York such a lovely and pleasant city is this massive park in the city center, which is a half-mile broad and 2.5 miles long. Apart from being a fantastic spot to get some fresh air, Central Park offers a plethora of attractions inside its boundaries, the most of which are free, making it one of the few inexpensive things to do in NYC. The Belvedere Castle, Strawberry Fields, Central Park Zoo, and the lake are among the most popular sites to visit. If you're going to explore the park on your own, get a map from one of the visitor centers and plan your route. Number 1. Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty, America's most iconic landmark, is at the top of every first-time visitor's New York bucket list. France had given it to the United States as a present. It is a world symbol of freedom and one of America's most popular tourist attractions, having been built in 1886. It is just less than 152 feet tall from base to torch and weighs over 450,000 pounds, making it one of the world's biggest sculptures. The statue can be seen from land, with particularly nice views from Battery Park on Manhattan's southern point. To fully appreciate the Statue of Liberty, though, taking a short boat ride to Liberty Island and seeing it up close is the finest option. You may wander around the base, enter the pedestal, or go right up to the crown with advance bookings. When taking a tour of the Statue of Liberty, you can stop at Ellis Island and see the Immigration Museum. This excellent museum is housed in the old Immigration Station complex, which saw thousands of immigrants screened before being allowed to enter the United States. The exhibits focus on the process, the experiences, and the stories of the people who passed through here on their way to America. You may even look up a list of immigrants who have passed through here using the on-site computer database. Tickets to enter the statue are sold out. Buying tickets in advance is a requirement during peak season and a smart idea at any time of year. This trip includes entrance to the Pedestal Museum and the Ellis Island Museum, as well as early reserve line access to board the ship. Note: purchasing tickets at the ferry can be difficult, with hawkers posing as official personnel attempting to sell you more costly tickets before you can locate the ticket counter.